Hello! Today we are going to be covering Mekanism, following a request from a subscriber/viewer. There was one other thing I forgot to mention in the last video. If you type @ in the name of the mod, JEI will filter out just that mod. Now I could make this really specific and filter out just the tools and just the generators and the additions and all that sort of thing. However, I find that just having Mekanism sorted out is going to be sufficient for our purposes today anyways. So let's go ahead and get started. The basics when it comes to Mekanism are going to be osmium. This is osmium ore. Mekanism also adds tin, uranium, fluorite, lead, and copper. We're mostly going to be focusing on osmium today because it's what you need to get started with the mod. So once you've got yourself some osmium, you want to create a grindstone. This is an Applied Energistics 2 block. You can also use a pulverizer, which is a thermal block. It's from the thermal mod, but I prefer the grindstone, at least when you're first starting out. If you have a ton of resources and you've got some of these like POWAH, P-O-W-A-H mod solar panels, go ahead and make yourself a pulverizer by all means. Or if you have some other form of generator that is going to make it really easy for you to use the pulverizer, great. But since the pulverizer requires power, I tend to start with the grindstone from Applied Energistics 2, because you just stick a wooden crank in the top and you're ready to go. It makes life really simple. Really, you don't even have to do that. You can just drop your osmium into a furnace, smelt it, and get one ingot. But by doing this for something like 30 seconds, you can put 3 osmium blocks in here, and as you can see now I'm getting 2 osmium dust per block, and each piece of osmium dust will turn into an osmium ingot when you place it in a furnace. So we're ore doubling basically, which is very, very handy. And there we go, now it's done. It's easy to tell when it's done because the crank will stop turning. So now if we take this osmium ingot out of here and drop in our osmium dust, this is the one that we got from the block, and this will turn into 12 more that we got from 6 blocks. I had already done 3 osmium ores earlier just to test it out and make sure it works. All the mod 6 is not something I'm experienced with, but Mekanism mod in particular is something I do have some experience with. So I've just kind of been testing things and make sure that they work the same way in the all the mod 6 mod pack as what I'm used to. Once you have some osmium ingots, the next thing you're going to want to make is a heat generator. And so we need copper, osmium, planks, a furnace, and iron ingots. So let's go ahead and grab copper and iron and a furnace and our osmium and then planks. Just any old planks. There we go. Now we're ready to make our heat generator. So we craft that, and I already had one in my inventory, but yeah, if you're here for a tutorial, let's make sure we're covering everything. And then you place it, and then you can put anything that burns in there. You can fill it with wood if you want to. It's not going to be the most efficient way to do things though. And then let's talk about the heat generator a little bit here. It has a security. We can make it public or private or trusted. And then if we make it trusted, we have to have a list of people that are authorized on it. We can go from redstone ignored, redstone normal, so it will only work if it has a redstone signal, or redstone inverted, which means if you send a redstone signal to it, it will shut off. This tells us our temperature, and this tells us how much we're producing. Now, temperature can go badly. If you have too many of these working too close to each other, you can probably blow some stuff up. I've never had that happen, but I'm guessing that's the whole reason why it gives you information about the temperature of the unit. What I normally do is get a bunch of coal blocks, and I'll throw them into my heat generator. Now, I will comment that with Mystical Agriculture, as you can see here, I've planted a coal seed. You could make yourself a very large field of coal seed, get a bunch of coal essence, and I think you need 4 of these to make coal with it. But either way, you can grow coal using Mystical Agriculture. So that's one of the reasons why I'm following up Mystical Agriculture with Mekanism, is because there's some interaction here between these 2 mods. That's one of the things that I like about all the mod 6 and other mod packs like it. You don't just have the resources that one mod gives you available to you at any given point in time. There's always going to be some interconnection between a lot of the mods, which means that you can do some pretty fun stuff with it all. You know, you can get some pretty serious resource generation happening, and it makes it so that you can focus on other things that you really like doing, like whether it's building or mining or exploring, whatever the case may be, all these mods playing so nicely together means that you can just play however you want and not have to worry so much about storage and resource generation and all that. So now let's talk about our next block. The next block is going to be the Metallurgic Infuser, and this is going to require power, so you're going to have to connect it to your heat generator, and you're going to use this to create steel ingots. Now, there are other ways in all the mod 6 that you can create steel ingots. So if we take coke dust and an iron ingot and stick it into an arc furnace, which is an immersive engineering mod block, actually it's a multi-block structure, I think. Either way, you put that in there, you get steel ingots. And there's lots of things you can recycle into steel ingots. And then there's the immersive engineering blast furnace. And you can do this in either the crude blast furnace or the improved blast furnace. This is powered by coal, and then you fire an iron ingot in it and it produces a steel ingot. Any kind of an alloy smelter that allows you to combine two things is going to be capable of producing steel, though. So you need to combine it with coke or, in some cases, coal, and you will get steel. With Mekanism, though, it becomes much, much simpler. Any type of coal or charcoal when combined with iron. So your iron would go there, and then your coal. Yeah, there we go. So now we've got carbon. The heat generator has to be facing into the block. It needs to power. Otherwise, I'm willing to bet we can accomplish the same thing with a basic universal cable. Yeah, there we go. So now we're powering that block. Turn that off real quick. As long as it's got iron in it, it will continue to produce enriched iron. And then once we have a few of those, we can put the enriched iron back in, and that will give us steel dust. Or, quite possibly even steel ingots. No, steel dust. Okay, so that's how we're going to get our steel dust. And then we can use our steel dust to make steel. Right? And then we can just take our steel dust and plop it right down in a furnace. We're going to need those steel ingots and some redstone dust to make our basic universal cables. So technically, these don't exist yet in our little tutorial, but that's an understanding for you of how they'll work once they do exist. So then we want to go in here and we want to go basic universal cable, but that's really all there is to the basics of Mekanism to my mind. You use it to get that up and running, and then you'll find here in your JEI recipes all kinds of wonderful and amazing things you can do with it. It's really more of an automation and storage solution. You can do all kinds of different power generation setups with it, and there's a lot of neat blocks that you can make with it, and lots of ways to store things, all the way up to and including the Qio Drive Array. This is the Qio Drive Storage, and you can use that to do a great many things. You use the Qio dashboard, importers, exporters, redstone adapters, and then you've got supermassive Qio drive all the way down to a basic Qio drive. This can hold 128 different types of items and 16,000 total items. And then there's the dashboard. Oh, that's a portable one. That's handy. And then there's the hyperdense Qio drive. I mean, these just get ridiculous. That's one of my favorite storage solutions, is the one that Mekanism provides. The other basic blocks that you have access to right off the bat are going to be the enrichment chamber, the osmium compressor, the combiner, the crusher, the purification chamber, and the energized smelter. These all perform various functions and can accomplish various tasks for you. But in reality, the most basic of basics is what I'm aiming for in this tutorial today. And so that's going to be the Metallurgic Infuser, a heat generator, and you get there by mining up some osmium and then turning it into dust, smelting it in a furnace, and making these two blocks. That kind of opens the door to the rest of the things that you need to be able to make more Mekanism machines. So anyway, I want to say thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the day. I really appreciate you being here. We'll see you in the next one. So take care and bye-bye.